The Grammys just took place, and of course, big win for Bad Bunny, huge win for Kendrick Lamar and SZA. But here's the moment that I keep returning to, is that moment with Lauryn Hill up there giving tribute to Roberta Flack, giving tribute to D'Angelo. That was just something so beautiful about that moment. Today, we talk about our big sort of highlights of the Grammys of this year. Pablo the Don is here, Niko Stratis is here, and also, we spent a bit of time talking about the Justin Bieber performance. I had a good time. I hope that you did too. Get into the conversation. Let's go. Hello, both of you. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Okay, obviously we have like a lot to get into, but we're gonna do the thing where we kick off the whole thing with the most coveted award of the night, Album of the Year.
Debí tirar más fotos de cuando te tuve. Debí darte más besos y abrazos las veces que pude. Ey, ojalá que los míos.
That is a title cut of the album, Debí tirar más photos from Bad Bunny. Pablo, that's a big win, man. Your reaction to that win?
Right moment, right time, right person, right album.
Damn, okay,
I think
go off.
There's no better way to encapsulate that entire night, everything everyone was talking about on stage, than to give that award to the guy who made the best album, who did it for the right reasons, and is an American citizen who's not a native English speaker. It was just an amazing time, and I'm so happy to say that 2 years in a row, Grammys got Record of the Year right. Maybe they are as diverse as they've been trying to claim for the last 25 years.
Hey, the Grammys getting better at this, question mark? Big revelation. Didn't think it was possible. Okay, I just want to play a little bit of Bad Bunny's acceptance speech. Have a listen to this.
I want to dedicate this award to all the people that had to leave their homeland, their country, to follow their dreams. Para todas las personas que han perdido un ser querido y aún así han tenido que seguir hacia adelante y continuar con mucha fuerza. Este premio es para ustedes. Gracias por tanto amor. Los quiero. A todos los latinos en el mundo entero y todos los artistas que estuvieron antes y que merecieron estar en esta tarima recogiendo este premio. Muchas gracias.
That idea of right album, right person, right moment is sort of really resonant right now because he wins that award 7 days before he will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show. And obviously all eyes are on that halftime show because the idea that like this is the artist that gets his award now, and then in 7 days he's going to be handed one of the largest audiences of television for 15 minutes to do with it what he pleases. I'm really excited with that. I'm really excited about the possibilities that we could see from that. Niko, big night for Billie Eilish, took home Song of the Year. For Wildflower, Olivia Dean won Best New Artist. I was really excited about this because that's the one I was genuinely hoping for. Out of all the awards that were given out last night, what was the one that you were like, oh, I was looking forward to this one?
I'm the sicko that likes the best rock album because it always just feels like they put a bunch of names in a bag and then at the 11th hour they're like, oh, we gotta do the rock album. And Turnstile won with Never Enough this year, which is great. Like, shout out Turnstile. People love Turnstile. Yeah. I wanted this to be Deftones' year. Like, Deftones put out a new record this year that was really great. And I was like, maybe this is your year. And it's so funny to look at a category that's like Deftones, Haim, Linkin Park, Turnstile, Youngblood. And you're like, this is just everybody. We're just doing stuff here. And that's always kind of the fun one for me because those ones never really get the press, even though, you know, we have the big Post Malone headed tribute to Ozzy in this one. You know, rock music and like heavy music and whatever never really gets the love of the Grammys that I feel like it deserves. Yeah. Another one that I think is interesting that gets put in the early show is the soundtracks for video games and soundtracks for visual media. Like that stuff is put early in the show, and it's just like often these things are the soundtrack behind these huge properties that have a massive fan base. And it is interesting of like what makes the main show and what makes the like you haven't tuned in yet show at the beginning.
I think first of all, the idea
I like
of
a complicated Grammys.
Yeah,
I don't go for the hits.
That's what I like about this is like the thing that we're all looking for from the Grammys is so different that by the time that everyone sort of gets to the music's biggest night, like the thing that has to happen for you to feel like, oh, this was a pretty good night is so different for kind of everybody. For example, the thing that I was really looking forward to and did happen is Tyler Childers ends up winning Best Country Song for this song called Bitin' List, which like if you haven't heard the song Bitin' List, the chorus concludes with the words, and if I ever got rabies, you're high on the biting list, which is an absolutely incredible diss. And let me ask you, Pablo, as you're sort of looking at the winners and losers of yesterday, were there surprises? Were there snubs for you this year that you're like, what are we doing here?
No real snubs for me this year. I felt like it was very balanced like it was last year. I think the biggest shock was Lola Young taking home a Grammy. I was so excited for
Yeah.
her. I think it like coming back, I think the moment for her was huge. She infamously passed out on stage last year at I believe it's All Things Go in New York. She took a hiatus. She comes back with jet black hair. She's up for Best New Artist. She sings Messy, but then she wins for I believe it's like Best Pop Vocal Album or something like that. And she just like was so shocked. And those are the moments at the Grammys that I live for, the people who are just so unexpected. And it reminded me of when Amy Winehouse won Best New Artist in '08.
Hmm.
Like she was like, what? Like almost like can't
Me?
believe I'm here. And
Yeah.
those moments to me are what make the Grammys. So I was so excited. And of course, Doechii taking home Best Music Video for Anxiety, which of course was on the premiere ceremony. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doechii, two-time Grammys, everything happening at TDE this year. They all walked away with a Grammy. Amazing. Also, Lefty Gunplay getting a Grammy before Nicki Minaj is always going to be the funniest thing.
What? Okay, also the moment of Trevor Noah's opening speech where he goes, also I just want to tell everyone Nicki Minaj is not here. The arena erupts in applause. Quite something. Okay, if you guys don't mind, I just want to play you a little bit of this.
In the city, remember you used to drive a Yukon. I pick up whenever you call, like in a parking lot in Tucson. Are you with me? In the Phantom with the roof gone. I pull up like Jimmy Neutron. I get up, you get a move on like you are.
That is the one and only Justin Bieber in peak R&B mode, performing his song Yukon in his boxers. We'll go now to the premiere of Yukon. Niko Stratis, what'd you make of this performance? Were you like, don't name a song after my province, my territory? That's not okay with me. How are you feeling with this performance?
First of all, yes. You know, I remember like seeing like, oh, Justin Bieber has a song called Yukon. Bieber's never been there. I know this because I'm from there.
Talking about the song,
and I looked at it and I was
the
like,
car, not the territory, but yes.
yeah, and rhyming Yukon with Tucson. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? I thought like this was a real make or break moment for Bieber. I think just because like there's been a lot of public speculation about the state of Bieber's sort of like mental and physical health lately and everything else. Like, you know, a person that is constantly sort of in the conversation sphere.
Yeah.
And despite it looks like I just woke up here sort of appearance on stage.
Yeah.
Still brought it, you know, like, and really like, you know, part of what we're doing here is you are sort of dressing outlandish. You are sort of living up to the moment and whatever that looks like, whether that's, look, those boxers probably cost more than everything I own combined. But like, you know, you're going for a look, but you're also looking to make a statement. And I think it is like, I thought it went really well. And I was quite surprised at how much, because I'm not the biggest Bieber fan in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't dancing as hard as the two of you when you were playing that, but I'm still like, okay, so we're doing all right here.
I will say, like, Pablo, can I give you a moment to talk about that Yukon performance? Because you and I were kind of vibing with it. And I think there's something about Bieber in that mode. First of all, his eyes closed the entire time. He's in his boxers. There's a mirror beside him. He's like, this is as stripped down as it gets. And it's also for me. Forget this entire audience. And I honestly, I like that mode of Bieber.
Right. My one thing is, I wish he would have opened his eyes and just sung to himself in the mirror, because I think it would have made it so much better. But no, I am a known Justin Bieber defender. I defend him at all costs. I must, because the talent oftentimes carries us through. While I think last night was kind of his coming out party back again into all of the sphere, I know that Coachella is what he's really riding on this year.
Yeah,
but in
that's in
general,
April.
it was it was a vulnerable moment for a very vulnerable album where he's discussing his wife and becoming a dad and all the things people have said in the media. So I thought him showing up in his boxers was, one, very Justin Bieber, but two, very on par for what the entire album of Swag and Swag 2 was about, which is his current life state and how he's dealing with everything that's happened to him over the last 15 years.
You know what that tells me, Pablo? It tells me that it is, in fact, clocking to you. Okay, some of the other performances that we got Rosé, we got Tyler, the Creator, we got Somber, you got that gigantic Lauryn Hill tribute to, so you got Roberta Flack and D'Angelo, an all-star tribute that was just kind of just something magnificent to see. What were the performances that stood out for you, Pablo?
The D'Angelo Roberta Flack tribute was just it.
Yeah.
I mean, they dragged Bilal out of his house for the first time in 5,000 years, I think, looking amazing. Raphael Sadiq finally getting to take center stage at like this huge moment when he was like the power and the force behind a lot of the albums from the Soulquarians. Like that was a beautiful moment. Them bringing in younger people like Leon Thomas, Layla Hathaway. First of all, like Layla Hathaway coming out to grace it. Like that is the best way to do a tribute. That is the only tribute that will be acceptable going forward. Also, shout out to Lauryn Hill for showing up on time and remembering everyone's name. Like it will never happen again, Elle. I mean, it's never happening again that she will be on time and do it good. Can't have two in the same room at once again.
But also, can I just say, like, similar to last year when you saw like the reverence for Tracy Chapman on stage, that the reverence that people had for Lauryn Hill, like, oh, we get to witness the glory that is Lauryn Hill on stage. It was something genuinely really beautiful to see. Niko, Bieber was up for 3 awards last night, but then there were also some other significant Canadian nominations. Producer Circuit got the most noms of any Canadian this year. Tate McRae, first Grammy nomination. Talk to me about like what other Canadian wins you were sort of paying attention to.
The Grammys in Canada is always so funny because this is the thing I think about every year, and it's the thing that people talk about every year. And it is so funny to like comb through the Grammys to like root out the Canadians. Like who in here is Canadian? Like you start, I just say the word like Dutchie and just see who stands up to talk about their favorite donut or what have you. Not a lot. I mean, like, look, we got Joni Mitchell. We got a Joni Mitchell appearance.
She won her 11th Grammy Award for Best Historical Album for an archives record that she put out. Yeah.
And I think that is like that sort of for me is the takeaway of like seeing Joni roll up is who would have thought we would be here, you know, at this time in her life. And, you know, we can root out the Canadians and list all the live long day. You named the big ones, really. Like there's not a lot in there. Like I'm sure there are. Like somebody will mail me afterwards and say, look, there's somebody that was secretly Canadian on this thing or whatever. And look, we're always there. We're in the room. We're inescapable.
You just don't know that we're there, but we're there.
You just don't know that we're there because we don't like to draw attention to ourselves, except for one person who plays in his boxer shorts next to a mirror.
And thank God for that one. Okay, the Grammys also have this like long history of sort of using artists. You get artists who take a moment and say, this is now where I want to speak up. So it was not a surprise to see a bunch of artists doing that yesterday. Here's what Bad Bunny had to say while he was accepting the award for Best Musica Urbana.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
Niko, let me go to you first on that one. What'd you make of that Bad Bunny moment?
I mean, this idea of like best person, best record, best whatever, like also kind of the best person to speak to this, right? We have seen the vitriol that has been levied at him over he's playing the halftime show. And not only that, but like we are witnessing this happen all over America. And it is interesting, like who chose to wear a pin that says ice out, that's sort of hidden on their lapel, and who chooses to take their turn at the microphone to say it. And, you know, like often with shows like the Grammys, people will say like, well, these are not the place to talk about politics. And if anything, this is the best place for somebody like him to be able to stand in front of a microphone and say ice out, because this is a national stage that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to, and I think it creates this powerful moment. And he's not the only person that chose to spoke into the microphone and say something about where we're at, because it is impossible to ignore it. And you know, like it is such a powerful takeaway, and I think it is a thing that a lot of people are going to be thinking about.
Well, I was going to say, Pablo, you know, Billie Eilish wins. She gets up to the stage. The first words that she says is, "No one is illegal on stolen land." I was like, well, hang on. That's Billie Eilish. Like, I'm familiar with that face. I'm not used to this level of politics coming out of someone like Billie. But also, like, in the next month or so, you got the Oscars coming up. You know, here in Canada, we got the Junos coming up. There's going to be more ample opportunities, I think, for musicians to say, I want to take this moment to maybe say something. Do you anticipate that more artists are going to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I think we saw here in America with the Golden Globes, we had Mark Ruffalo speaking out. I think Billie Eilish saying that on stage was incredible. I also think it counteracts a lot of the other people that are coming on stage, like Jelly Roll, who decided to use Jesus as a talking piece to kind of combat the language in a very like weird way. And then after he wins his award, he starts saying, I'm a redneck and I don't do politics. I don't want to hear that. Let everyone else speak then. If you have nothing to say, I'd rather you just be quiet. So I am very happy that people like Kehlani and Billy and Bad Bunny got up there. Even SZA's speech, while a lot of people didn't read the subtext, I got what she was saying. Like, we are governed by ourselves and we need to take that into account and really prepare ourselves for what we're going through, because sadness isn't going to carry us through. Being prepared is what's going to carry us through. So I think I'm excited to see what happens at the Oscars, at the Junos, who's going to use that platform to speak up. I will say the one person that I did expect that didn't say anything was Chappell Roan, but I think they put the shackles on her after what happened last year, speaking out about artists needing health care. So I think she decided to dial it back.
Nico, I'll give you the last word on this. I think these are moments where we kind of go, hey, I love these artists. I really care about the thing that they have to offer me. I would like them to say something that's going to give me some comfort, some guidance on how to navigate a maybe difficult moment. Is that something that you're expecting as you sort of get to, the Oscars and the Junos and the next other sort of few award shows?
It's not that I'm expecting it, but I really would like to see more of it. And not just from the people speaking on stage, but also from the institutions that are there in the room. Like, people can stand and applaud for Bad Bunny all the live long day, but what are you all doing to actually support people that are speaking out, not just about ICE, people that have been pro-Palestine, and all of these people that have spoken out about political causes in the past? What repercussions have they faced for using their words, using their voice for what it's there for, which is to, speak truth to power in a lot of places. So, I want to see more of it, and I want to see more support for people and less pressure to hold yourself back because you don't want, whatever shareholders are in the room to be upset because you speak about XYZ thing. So, we should be asking these people that have these platforms to speak to these issues that are nationally important, internationally important. And, we should be supporting them on the other side. This is part of a free speech, society that we keep claiming we have, is that people should be allowed to do these things and not worry about it when they step off stage.
Well, I appreciate the both of you being here. This has been a wonderful time. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Niko Stratis is the author of The Dad Rock That Made Me a Woman. She's a premier of Yukon, as I mentioned earlier, and she lives in Toronto. Pablo the Don is a culture critic and part of those Wrestling Girls podcasts. They were in Springfield, Massachusetts. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.